shot
Wow.
based off of, just driving in the wrong driveway. In Alabama, I think the last article I saw, 4 people died.
Welcome to the talk show, where we're kicking it and having fun on inspirational radio. The talk show, kicking it and having fun. So turn your radio up.
In a world where there is devastation and destruction, there came a show called TheReuPLive, and it is hosted by none other than Deacon Seaworth, Lasagna Witt, and Bishop One Good Leg. These 3 dynamic heroes have the unenviable task of separating fact from fiction, and they're doing it live right here on TheReuPLive.
He said, we in this thing. How you be saying it, Dion? We in this thing.
We're in this thing, man. Hey, listen, we in here like real her, grown in and not sewn in. You heard me?
I wanted to tell y'all real quick about an experience I had yesterday, right? Yesterday I was going to, I had to go get my tires changed on my car. Then I went and got an oil change. So it was just a whole bunch of car stuff, right?
Mm-hmm.
So when I went to go get my oil changed and my car inspected, I was in the lobby area and I could hear like a bunch of bass like coming out of the garage, right? And I'm like, is that my car? Like, it was really, really, really loud, right? I'm like, is this my car out there bassing? So I look at my phone, because I always have my phone connected to my car, because I'm playing my playlist, and I see like one of my songs is playing. So I cut it off. And then I hear the noise again, so surely that's not my car, but I look at my phone and my music is playing again. So the man comes out after they inspect my car and he was like, hey, my partner back there was just admiring your bass in your car, and we were listening to that music you had in your car. And I have like a Christian playlist, like Christian hip hop and stuff. So I had to do a shout out on TikTok for Caleb. They listened to 2 songs. He asked me about Caleb Jordan and this guy named Hovey. This is part of 116. But they was in there jamming to my music.
Had that bass pumping. You were so scared. Is that my car? You turned it on. Them brothers turned it back on.
Yeah, and turned it up. Like, I don't even listen to my car that loud. But I was like, is that my car? Like, making all that?
They was like, yeah, that's your bass player. That's your bass.
That's that bold system.
They was ready.
I got a little box back there, Dion. Like, I had a little box put in there. And it's a little flat box. It can kick. I see
what's happening.
I like to hear my songs crisp when I'm in the car. That's my relaxation.
Oh, I see what's happening.
Got your 2 10s back there pumping?
Man, yeah, it's pretty nice. The man hooked me up. He hooked me up. He got me a good price, and I mean, apparently other people like it, but I think what I was most excited about is they wanted to know, who them artists were, and that's what, we've been talking about it a lot on Seriously, right? What I was really excited about is they were hearing this Christian content music and really enjoying it, and just to have that open conversation and let them know that these were some Christian artists that, hopefully from there, somebody plants a seed, somebody come by and water it, but
don't play.
They gonna go and look up those artists and hopefully run across some more music for them. So I'm really, really excited about that type of stuff when that happens. So
awesome.
Yeah. So, last week I know we discussed a little bit about Easter at Mike Todd's church, and I don't really have no update with that. I know I think I saw something where someone may have came out and tried to, I don't know if it was an apology or anything like that, but just really a clarification of what their service was like. I think, I'm not sure, but I'm pretty sure that they were talking about doing some re-airing of it so people could, hopefully experience the whole show instead of the snippets. And then, I know we talked a little bit about the Tennessee legislature. That still seems like that's ongoing. Like that's going to be an ongoing thing. But those Justins down there, I'm gonna just call them the Justins, J and J. They down there.
J and J.
They just making some noise. So, to your point, Sonia, I think we need more, people in politics like them that are going to stand, true to their faith and their beliefs. Unfortunately, though, because when we were talking about Justin Pearson and Justin Jones, it was at the end of or in response to them being expelled from their local legislature for speaking out against wanting to have some more gun control or some more things in place. And so I just know over the last since the last time we've spoken, last time we've done a show, there's been a mass shooting and 2 young people that have been accidentally shot based off of, just driving in the wrong driveway. In Alabama, I think the last article I saw, 4 people died. I don't have like all the pictures and things, but we were talking a little bit about it on the show. Dion, they broke our record. Last week we were saying it wasn't people of color out here shooting people, and as soon as we say that, we got some people of color out there in Alabama, doing some things like this. So definitely prayers out to the family. But to me, again, people are people, and that's why I think we need the control, or just some more control, some more things put around it, to make sure that we got guns in the right people's hands, if anything, and definitely not in the wrong people's hands. So there's just, every day to me it seems like there's an example of something like that. So we can start there. Any other thoughts, about that? Again, prayer wise, I think as a church we need to pray for, I believe his name is Ralph Jar in Kansas City, and then Kaylin Gillis in New York. Both of them. Ralph just pulled up, thought he was going to pick up his siblings from school, walked up to the door, wrong door, and from what I understand, he shot him, through the door, shot him in the head, and then shot him again while he was on the ground. Luckily, the young man he's pulled through. I believe he's home. I think what concerned me about it though is, this happened, and whoever, the man who did it, which I believe his name is Andrew Lester, he kind of went home like the day after, so, even after it happened, it didn't seem like we reacted to the situation the way we really needed to. And then a very similar thing happened with Kaylin Gillis. She was shot by Kevin Monahan. I think her and her friends they had pulled into the wrong driveway. And as they were backing back out, he shot into the car, and she was shot, so definitely.
No, I didn't hear about that one.
Yeah.
I hadn't heard about, Dion, did you hear about that? I hadn't heard about that particular one with the driveway.
I heard a little bit about both of those, but just like in passing, kind of, did you hear about them shooting kind of thing?
Oh, but, okay. Because I didn't know that. Wow.
It's just another instance of, people, I think, being, and to your point about, as soon as we say, hey, it's not us, it's them. I believe that this person that did the mass shooting, if they were, like us or whatever, they were probably wound up and set on that course. And It wasn't just something that they woke up and decided to do. They, that like people all the time do. You know what I'm saying? They want to push different narratives. For whatever reason, be it financial or political or whatever the gain is out of it or whatever. I believe, wholeheartedly that a lot of times that a lot of those instances, especially when it's a one-off type situation or whatever, that person 9 times out of 10 was wound up and set on that course by somebody. It just stuff that we don't do. It's not us. We're not kidnapping and taking a bunch of hostages. We're not shooting at people with a high-powered rifle. We're not going into schools and doing. That's just not how we get down. That's just not how we build. You know what I'm saying? It's just not what we do. Now, if it is that one-off situation, I assure you, it was some coercing that has gone on prior to that. It wasn't something that that they came up with on their own. I'm gonna do this. You know what I mean? So that's just my take on it.
Yeah, but I think the bottom line is, no matter who it is or how it happened, for a 16 and a 17-year-old to get, and I don't even know what type of weapon it is, I know when it first happened, it really was one of those things that was kind of kept under wraps a lot. Like for a minute, people didn't know how many people were really, unalive. They didn't know how many people were hurt. All we knew was a Sweet 16 party, right? What you're looking at are the 4 people that did pass, and so, again, as Christians, it's very sad to just be having this discussion. And I would have to assume for 4 people to lose their lives,
wow,
and for 38 people to be injured, it had to be some type of automatic situation in there, because just a handgun.
Not gonna do all that. Not 38 people yet.
Yeah, so there's some assumptions in there, but bottom line is, how does a 16 and a 17-year-old get a hold of a gun? Period, right? And have access to going and doing something like this. So
was that the birthday party, the Sweet 16, or was this a different one? Okay.
It was a Sweet 16 birthday party. Yeah.
Okay.
Yeah.
Wow.
I mean, to your point, I mean, like that's what I was saying when we started talking the other day about gun control. Guns on the streets are readily available, man. They are readily available, and you don't have to have a whole lot of documents and requirements and all that to get them. You got the cash, you can get a gun today. Now, some of these young people, are doing, sometimes they'll break into houses and get guns that way, from homeowners or whatever that maybe have them put up or whatever. But like I said, if it's not that scenario where they stealing the guns, it's a scenario where, they hustled and came up with the money and then bought a gun on the street. I mean, that's how easy it is. Like you can pretty much, if you want a gun, you can get a gun today.
Yeah. What I would say though is most of the mass shootings that we've seen as of recent were people who had their guns legally though.
Really? I didn't know that part. I didn't know that piece.
Someone in their home owned the gun and they got their hands on it. These weren't people that had their guns illegally. Now, me growing up in the hood, I know exactly what you're saying, Dion. That there's definitely some people that can get some guns on the black market or on illegal. But again, even those start somewhere. right?
Mhm.
They start. There's a process with it, and I saw something interesting this week from another media personality, and they were just talking about different options, and this was one option I hadn't really considered, but they brought up the fact that back in I guess the 20s and the 30s, the Tommy gun was what the AR-15 is of today's time, and the way they got that one under control is they started taxing the Tommy gun really, really high. So if you own a Tommy gun, or if you wanted to own one, the tax on it was pretty, astronomical. I think equivalent to, I think it was $200 back then, which would probably be equivalent to like maybe 2,000, I think they were saying. Now, just tax on top of whatever you had to pay for that particular gun. And, so that was an option that I guess we put in place at one time in history. And I guess things like that, I don't understand why we're not taking a look at it, because I don't see nobody with a Tommy gun no more. So maybe that's something. To me, right now it's just super easy for you to walk into a Walmart or a store or a gun store or whatever, and there's really not a stipulation that can keep most people from getting a gun, and a gun of that particular caliber. Nothing that's gonna, sway you from doing that, right? That's the other picture. I have a picture of the young man.
Just a shooter.
This dude looks. No, this is the young man that walked up to the house. He was trying to pick up his siblings in Kansas City.
Oh, he got shot. This young man got shot.
Mm-hmm. And this man shot him through the door. And so mistaken identity or whatever. I think as they dig further into that, I think the last update I saw was that they did finally bring charges, to this man. The last shooting was this young lady in New York.
Okay, yeah.
And she just, her and her friends had kind of pulled into the wrong driveway, was kind of backing out. And this man shot into the car. So again, I don't know. I don't know if there's a simple answer for this, but definitely, I would say that we need to have some type of something done. You know what I mean? The conversation right now is, basically leave it as it is. Really it turns into a argument about, the Second Amendment and what that really means. But what's going on? You have, a bunch of just innocent lives being lost. And, the discussion is to me, I don't know if it's going anywhere. It's just really become a political speaking point. I don't think anyone believes that you just ban guns all together. But Dean, I know you said this on our last show. We definitely need to have some regulations in there, and it doesn't seem like we're getting some type of consensus from both sides to make that happen. So going back to politicians like Justin Pearson and Justin Jones, they seem to be standing on that request and standing on at least trying to protect as many young people as possible. I mean, I even heard that, and I can't think of the state, man. It was like Montana or something like that, something up northwest, where they were voting on having teachers have guns, in the school. Like, I don't know. I don't even know.
Man.
I don't even know if the teachers want that type of responsibility. Like they went to college,
Ooh, yeah,
college
because
to
then,
become teachers.
yeah. Do they keep it in their desk? Do they take it home? Is it under the seat? Like they tap it, they strap it to the seat. Like what is gun gonna be?
I don't know.
That has a potential to really get out of hand, and especially in the climate that we're in now. If you see so many of these videos where these students are really physically attacking these teachers, you know,
They are.
the teachers standing up there saying, "Hey, y'all sit down," or
That's the truth.
third, and blah blah blah, and the student is getting rowdy up in their face, and the next thing you know, they fist fighting. So you think about it, if the teacher got a gun in their desk, you know what I'm saying, that can go a whole nother way. You know what I'm saying? The teacher could get the gun prematurely and shoot the student. The student could get the gun and shoot the teacher. I mean, it's just so much that can happen that could end, you know, very, very tragically, you know. I just don't think that's a good idea, like any way you slice it. Any way you slice that. Now, if you got some teachers that maybe are ex-military or ex this or that have been trained or what have you, you may sanction them to carry the gun or what have you in maybe a active shooter type situation or whatever. But outside of that, just normal everyday teachers, nah, brother. That's gonna end bad for a lot of people.
It might be panic involved, and it might be panic involved, and then you getting it.
Absolutely.
Or the student take it from you and shoot too.
You get a big student, you know, a big oversized student, and these kids, you know how they big and overgrown now. It's a shooting. That's period. They're not gonna try to restrain these little old teachers. They gonna pop them.
I get it though.
Think about the fact that we're actually having this discussion.
Isn't that something?
Teachers,
to even think about it, to even talk about it. Yep, that's the truth.
Right. Like, I mean, I'm you know, when we were growing up, or when I was growing up, I the last thing I thought of was, you know, having to worry about gun violence or something in school. Like
that's
the
true.
Worst thing we was worried about was maybe a fight after school, some fisticuffs or something like that. But definitely not, you know, this level of gun violence and protection needed just to keep your kids safe. And
that's true.
you know, but for me, that's kind of what it just boils down to. Like, and what can we do to, you know, at least curtail this? And I know the last show, or one of our previous shows, I brought up some of the stats. You know, in the United States, we're one of the highest in mass shootings and things like that. But we also have some of the least regulations when it comes to that type of stuff. And I get it, you know, and from the Christian point of view, and from the people point of view, you know, the rebuttal is normally that people, you know, kill people, you know, so it's not just the weapon, but, you know, again, what type of stipulations, what kind of regulations are we putting in to make sure that we're not putting guns in people who have mental issues at the very least, you know what I mean? Not struggling with different things, and these type of guns in those people's hands. So, you know, even if that's the stance that we want to take, it still makes sense to make sure that we have at least some type of stipulations. I know you're not going to be able to catch everybody that's just dealing with something. I heard something earlier today where they were talking about people being possessed by demons.
Welcome to the talk show, where we're kicking it and having fun.